Welcome to the debate. Yeah, we know we're not the usual Inspirobytes hosts you might tune into for like the deep dives on music lyrics or those legal breakdowns.
Or the usual anime analysis, but we saw that discussion, sparked by RDC's video comparing the fear factor in Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer, and well, it really got us thinking.
It absolutely did. So the central question we're tackling today is this. Considering the society, the threats, the chances for peace, which of these fictional worlds, Attack on Titan or Demon Slayer, is objectively, genuinely scarier for the average person living in it? Now, I'm going to argue that Attack on Titan presents the deeper, more paralyzing horror.
And I'm coming at it a bit differently. Yeah, AOT has that huge, crushing scale, but I think the persistent, the nightly, and really personal terror you find in Demon Slayer makes that world the far more terrifying place to actually exist day to day. So I'm firmly on the side of DS being scarier. And hey, folks, if you enjoy this kind of debate, definitely like the video and subscribe to Aspire Bytes. We appreciate it.
Right. So my point is that the horror in AOT is fundamentally existential, it's societal. Humanity is literally imprisoned, living behind walls that, as we find out, are built on this massive lie, always under the shadow of total extinction by the Titans. Think about the start. The colossal Titan kicks the wall. Boom. Wall Maria falls. The chaos, the refugees, the Titans pouring in. That event basically wiped out, a fifth of the population almost instantly? The horror isn't just the body count, it's how completely meaningless individual effort becomes against this overwhelming, almost incomprehensible force. Life inside those walls is it's slavery to fear, slavery to this impending doom.
Okay, I see the existential weight, the systemic oppression you're talking about. But focusing only on that, I think, ignores the sheer frequency and the localized risk in Demon Slayer. The threat there is incredibly personal, it's active, it happens every single night, and it feels inescapable for ordinary people. Demons aren't just mindless monsters. They're intelligent, they regenerate, they often have these tragic human backstories driving them, and they actively hunt humans for food. Constantly. And look at the Demon Slayer Corp itself. The mortality rate is insane. Someone like Urokodaki surviving to old age, that's presented as a rarity, which tells you everything about the danger level. Your average person, they can't just sleep peacefully. There's always that chance, some powerful demon, maybe even an upper moon, could just wander through and wipe out their entire community almost accidentally. Like we saw with Daki and Gyutaro, it requires immediate brutal sacrifice from the Hashira just to maintain any semblance of order. That's terrifying on a daily basis.
I understand emphasizing the nightly terror. I do. But let's reframe that frequency aspect. While yes, major Titan attacks like the one on Shiganshina might seem sporadic compared to nightly demon hunts, the fear inside the walls isn't remote. It's this constant grinding psychological toll of knowing that total annihilation isn't just possible, it feels inevitable. The entire structure of their society, the military branches, the economy, everything, is geared towards just delaying this ultimate catastrophe. And we see the horrific payoff of this kind of deterministic dread, right? The rumbling eventually kills, 80% of the entire world population. That's not just war. It's like a breakdown of reality itself, driven by this inescapable cycle of hatred and this almost predetermined fate that humanity seems trapped in. There's no real escape coded into their world, maybe even their biology.
I'm just not convinced that the, let's call it, philosophical dread of an eventual, maybe avoidable apocalypse outweighs the immediate, concrete, high-stakes lottery of just surviving the night. What you call fatalism feels like a terror of the mind. What people face in Demon Slayer is visceral survival horror, every single night. This pervasive fear forces entire communities to depend on the Demon Slayer Corps, an organization that basically runs on, pure self-sacrifice. Think about the cost. The injuries the Hashira sustain, like Tenjin Uzui losing an arm and an eye, just to stop one major threat. Society is perpetually on a knife's edge, and that constant, tragic need for heroes to cripple themselves or die just to keep things going, that makes the day-to-day existence feel far more precarious, far more immediately frightening to me.
Well, thinking about the long term, the future prospects, I think that's where AOT's horror really deepens. The core tragedy isn't just the Titans, it's the cyclical nature of human conflict itself. Even after the main Titan threat is, let's say, addressed, the story strongly implies the fighting doesn't end. Paradis still faces conflict. The ultimate horror becomes the realization that maybe freedom was always an illusion, that the cycle of hatred and war is the true, enduring nightmare. It never really stops.
That's a fair point about the bleak outlook on human nature in AOT, but I'd frame the Demon Slayer resolution quite differently. Despite the intense, awful horrors people endure, DS actually offers a path to a definitive end. There's a possibility, earned through immense sacrifice, mind you, of a complete victory, an end to the entire era of demons. That potential for absolute peace, for the nightmare to actually end, makes the danger faced by those slayers feel even more acute in retrospect, but it also offers a kind of hope AOT explicitly denies. The horror had a purpose and an achievable endpoint.
So ultimately, both worlds present these truly nightmarish scenarios. Attack on Titan, I still believe, leans into this overwhelming deterministic terror. It's cosmic fatalism, societal collapse, endless conflict. The psychological weight of knowing you're trapped in this grand, horrifying cycle makes it, for me, the more profoundly terrifying existence.
And I maintain that the sheer necessity of potentially facing intelligent, powerful, flesh-eating demons every single night, coupled with the constant, tragic, personal sacrifice demanded just for basic survival, that makes the active, immediate, day-to-day peril in Demon Slayer the more acutely terrifying reality for anyone unlucky enough to live there.
Well, hopefully this discussion gave some perspective on the contrasting flavors of horror in these two incredible universes. There's obviously so much more to dig into in the source material itself.
Absolutely. And if you enjoyed this debate, please do remember to like the video and subscribe to Inspire Bites for more deep dives and discussions, whether it's anime, music, or whatever else catches our eye. Thanks for tuning in.